I'm gonna roll till I drop to the break of dawn. Good. Pretty lady, she's gonna take me to the other side. You know I used to smoke too much, and you know I used to drink too much. Take a ride in my car, and you can get me high, high, high. You know I used to smoke too much, and you know I used to drink too much. Take a ride in my car, and we're gonna get real. Come on, baby. Let's take a ride. I don't know where we're gonna go, but first, let's dance. You know I used to smoke too much, and you know I used to drink too much. Take a ride in my car, and you can get me high, high, high. You know I used to smoke too much, and you know I used to drink too much. Take a ride in my car, and we're gonna get real. Uh-huh.
Hi everyone, Dan here, and I just wanted to put a little snippet about AstroWorld and what we do because I want to start getting the word out because I think it's becoming more and more of a giant community, and I want to get the word out to some other people. So what we do at AstroWorld is we hold astrophotography chats on Wednesdays at 9 p.m. and Fridays at 8 p.m. Eastern time. And we just talk astrophotography. Wednesday's more of a techie kind of advanced intermediate, and Fridays is more of a newbie kind of thing. So if you want to check us out, and if you want to, hang out with some semi-decent people that like to go off the rails a little bit and have fun while they're doing it, come check us out at astroworldweb.com, and you can check out the schedule, and you can sign up for all the free giveaways that we do. We just gave away an Eagle 4 Pro, an Optilong filter kit, Charles Brackenstein's books, and a whole bunch of other stuff. So come to astroworldweb.com, hang out with us, have a good time, and as always, remember to keep imaging, keep educating, and clear skies. And I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.
Deborah, things are becoming intense. I rip my jeans on your fence, hiding away from your man. Oh, it's a passion. Oh, tell a tale of 1,000 lonely days. Yeah, she's a real thing. Yeah, only I can make a change. If you want to be together, it's so good to be together with you. If you want to be together, Deborah, I'm getting caught in the rain, standing here calling your name. Guess I got no one to blame. Yeah, it's a small town. Yeah, all the people turn and stare. Oh, secret. Hey, let them see me. I don't care if you want to be together. It's so good to be together with you. If you want to be together. If you want to be together, it's so good to be together with you. If you want to be together, say you want to be together. I'm feeling a little bit guilty, but it feels so bad. Yeah, so good to be together. We did it before, we can do it again. I'm tearing out my hair, 'cause I don't know when so good. You want to be together. Yeah. It's so good to be together. Yeah, so damn good. You want to be together. It's so good, it's so good. Yeah. What the hell's wrong with my telescope now? Yeah, what's wrong with this thing? The lost Lone Ranger, can I break this spell? You want things right, do I make you do things wrong? If I want that fine line, I will always take the fall. If I just do left, watch you leave from the right. I sleep all day long, and I'm dreaming through the night. I wonder what it was that made me want you. She couldn't understand what made me hard. She's climbing in and out my open window. I'm laying here alone and cold and drained. Yeah. So take another breath and come up for your oxygen. And now you wanna kiss the flesh and blood of every man, every man. And when the moon is full and the wolves were held, she swam across the lake just to get to my house. Yes. And she said, I want more. Give me more. Disgusting stuff. I want more. A little bit of. Give me more. Disgusting stuff. Disgusting stuff. looks upon a world that's dark and tangled. I never saw her turn her head and shame. She's standing out the open window. I'm lying here alone, cold and gray. So take another breath and come up for your oxygen. Hey, you know you wanna kiss the flesh and blood of every man. Well, we all took turns and you swallowed the world. I never realized till you sat with us, man. And she said, I want more. Give me more disgusting stuff. A little bit of disgusting stuff. Disgusting stuff. Oh, you're making me stop. Disgusting stuff. A little bit of disgusting stuff. Give me more disgusting stuff. Yeah, a little bit of disgusting stuff. I want more.
Hi everyone, Dan here, and I just wanted to put a little snippet about AstroWorld and what we do because I want to start getting the word out because I think it's becoming more and more of a giant community, and I want to get the word out to some other people. So what we do at AstroWorld is we hold astrophotography chats on Wednesdays at 9 p.m. and Fridays at 8 p.m. Eastern time. And we just talk astrophotography. Wednesday's more of a techie kind of advanced intermediate, and Fridays is more of a newbie kind of thing. So if you want to check us out, and if you want to, hang out with some semi-decent people that like to go off the rails a little bit and have fun while they're doing it, come check us out at astroworldweb.com, and you can check out the schedule, and you can sign up for all the free giveaways that we do. We just gave away an Eagle 4 Pro, an Optilong filter kit, Charles Brackenstein's books, and a whole bunch of other stuff. So come to astroworldweb.com, hang out with us, have a good time, and as always, remember to keep imaging, keep educating, and clear skies. And I'll see you soon. Bye-bye. Hey everybody, it's another day, another Wednesday, and another special guest here on AstroWorld, and we're loving it. We're loving the love, but you know what we're not loving? We're loving 34 people that are watching, and only 8 people hit the thumbs up. So let's get the thumbs up going, and thanks everybody. That That includes anybody who in the co-host panel too. So make sure you hit the like too.
I hit the dislike button.
Oh no! Don't do
Oh.
that. If you're gonna hit it twice. It'll take it away. It's fine. but how's it going, everybody? Welcome to the show. As you can see, we got up in the top middle. We got Steve Mallia from Starfield Optics. So we're loving having him tonight, and our guest emeritus, Sean Nielsen, on the bottom right. So there you go. Hey, we got a wonderful show. Steve is going to be showing us or talking about his company and what's going on that he has going on right now presently, and what's going to hopefully go on in the future, and what we could expect from Starfield Optics upcoming. So before we get to brass tacks here, we do need to go over, we have a lot of special sponsors that give us giveaways and money to get, gifts for NEEF and stuff like that, and things that we can do. And we just gave away a $250 gift certificate to Woodland Hills a couple of weeks ago. We gave away an Eagle 4 back in July. So we do need to give props up to the people that are allowing us to do that for them. So let's get that real quick. All right. So our first sponsor at the main sequence level sponsor is Woodland Hills Camera and Telescopes out in California. So we want to thank Farah and Woodland Hills over there, because they've been giving us we're giving away $50 gift certificates for them every month, and then we do a big one at the end of the year. So thank you to Farah, and if you need anything, you could always get it from them. They always have it in stock. It's great. At our Red Giant level, we have Prima Luce Lab, Camera Concepts, and Optolong. Now that Optolong is back from their Lunar New Year, we're starting up the talks on renewing their sponsorship to AstroWorld. So we're looking forward. We gave away last year. We gave away 2 sets of SHO 3nm filters, LRGB sets, L Extremes, L Enhances. We gave away a whole bunch of stuff. So thank you to Jessica Hahn over at Optolong. And at our super giant level, we have Masters of Pixel and IP for AP. We're giving away a free Masters of Pixel workshop every Friday for the foreseeable future. They've been super generous to us. Not to mention the fact IP for AP as well has given us 12 yearly subscriptions. We're doing that once a month as well. So if you're interested in learning to step up your game in post or pre-processing, they're both great tools that you could definitely get some free stuff from them. We also have a bunch of member sponsors. And again, I'm sorry, you'll hear about my week. I worked 30 hours in a day and a half, and it was driving me nuts. So I didn't get a chance to upgrade. We do have some changes in the members, but this is what I got right now. So thank you again. Sean Nielsen and Bob Tomato are Off the Rails members. Thank you so much. Followed by our Quasar members, our Black Hole members, Charity, George, Mike, and Dan. I had to change the Red Giant member slide because some of the Red Giant members moved up to Black Hole. So I had to change that a little bit, if you notice the difference. We have a ton of main sequence members. We have about 45 members now. So thank you so much for everybody. If you're interested in joining, supporting us and becoming a Patreon member, hit us up on Patreon at AstroWorld TV and join us. And our Protostar members as well on YouTube. Tonight we have Steve Mallia from Starfield Optics. It's going to be great to hear from Steve. But for upcoming guests, we have Richard Wright on February 15th, and the time is to be determined because Richard is going to be live from Winter Star Party in Florida. So we're going to be hanging out with Richard. He's going to be bouncing around doing what he does, probably yelling and screaming about the death of guiding. February 22nd. February 22nd, we have the return of Bob Denny and Azcom Alpaca to see what they have upcoming for 2023. Bob, that will be his second time on AstroWorld. Followed by March 1st, Ivo Stoyanov from APT, his return to AstroWorld. We haven't heard from him since 2.0 came out, I think, March of 2023. So it's like a year ago. So it's like his anniversary. So March of 2022. My apologies. And then on April 5th, we have Warren Keller, his first time coming on to AstroWorld as his own show. And April 5th, he's going to be coming and showing us some tips and tricks on Masters of Picks Insight. Maybe he'll even play the sax if he's so inclined. But we'll see. And again, if you want to join us on any of our social media platforms, come hang out with us on Discord. We have 110 members on our Discord channel. It's becoming a great source of information. And of course, Twitch, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, all that. We're on everything. So feel free to come check us out wherever you get your social media. And with that being said, we are back to the 5 Up and to our guests and our co-hosts. Thank you, everybody, for coming and hanging out. Steve, welcome. Welcome to the show. Thank you for coming on.
Oh, I'm super excited to be here. I am grateful for the invitation. I'm grateful for Sean for suggesting it and getting in contact with you, Dan, and setting it up. So I'm super excited that I'm here. That I even told my mom. So I sent her the link and I'm expecting that she's already shared it out to a couple dozen of her friends and bragging as we're speaking it. So
that's
my boy. That's my boy.
That's
exactly. That's my minimum expectation.
Well, you know what she's got. You know what she well, I don't know. After you said that, we just dropped from 38 to 37. So I don't know. Maybe. But well, yeah, we're grateful to Sean too, and for Sean dragging you on the show, and everybody. I know. Sean has his own stuff going on as well as far as tutoring is concerned. Support Sean. Sean has been a great supporter of the show from literally day one. Feel free to go to his website at visibledark.ca and support him. And he is it's been an influence on me, probably an influence on a lot of the people that I watch. And I just want to say thank you to Sean and what he does. And it's amazing. So go to his website, support him as well.
Thanks, Dan. Appreciate that. Yeah, that's awesome.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. Well deserved. You're gonna get an Emmy this year. We're gonna have the AstroWorldies, and that's what we're gonna do. AstroWorldies. we'll have a globe with a telescope on top, and it'll be like a gift.
With a cloud. Put a cloud hanging over it.
No clouds.
No clouds. I thought this was a family show. No swearing. Come on.
Yeah. Well, feel free to grab your own adult beverage if you want. Me and Steve do the wine thing a little bit if you want. It's very informal. Hey, Steve, again, great for having you come on. Why don't you start off by maybe a little background, a little history on the business, and for those people that are new to astrophotography that don't know who you are or who Starfield Optics is, give them a little background.
Yeah, so thank you very much. Yeah, Starfield Optics, it's a fairly young company still. I started it back in 2018. I started with one product, right? Just like anything else, you start off with one item and you just go from there. And it started off with just a series of reducers and flatteners. I started to build things up. It was originally, to be honest with you, more of a house brand that I had for my dealership company, Ontario Telescope. But I soon realized that there's a need for more products to come into the astrophotography space that would complement what was there already. So we started to look for new product ideas and develop it from there. My dream was to actually start having a telescope line where I would be, competing with the big boys of the industry. But I didn't dream it would get to the point where it's at, and it's continuing to grow. From there, Starfield Optics actually acquired another Canadian company called Zygo-Astro, and Zygo-Astro made really, really good filter wheels, and we took the development of that filter wheel product and manufacturing, we moved it back to our facility, and we continued on with it and continued to make improvements and changes to that product as it went on. And I'm proud to say that it's still one of the smallest and lightest filter wheels on the market, and it's pretty unique where the 19 millimeter profile is exactly 19 millimeters throughout the entire profile. So we can now stack filter wheels up together. It's used in other industries, not just astronomy. So it's very nice to see that product has branched out. And from there, just continue to develop where we started to see a need for premium optics, premium telescopes that not only were just a telescope, but was a complete solution to the astroimager, to the customer, right? Why buy a telescope and then you have to get all these add-ons for it and put it on afterwards, where you're spending all this extra money? Why not get an out-of-the-box solution, right? That's ready to go, premium optics, tested, and Sean's used our scopes, and we've been quite successful with it. Put it on the mount, attach your camera, and go. And that was something that I had a dream of, and I wanted to make into a reality. And that's where we were able to get it to today, where we are now have a very good line of premium optics, 80, 90, 115 millimeter triplets, 80 and 102 millimeter ED doublets. And we just launched, we announced the launch of our new 60 millimeter quad. And again, keeping with the same theme of an out-of-the-box experience, plug and play, giving the end user, the customer, fellow imagers, a telescope where you simply attach a camera, come into focus, and just image. Why fight with your equipment? We get enough cloudy nights as it is. Let's take our treasured clear nights and get the most out of them, right? And that includes enhancement like having an automatic focuser out of the box as well. Having a case that's designed. This is it seems like a small thing, but we designed our case for our 60, right, to accept an automatic focuser on the telescope. We don't have to cut foam. We don't have to do anything special to the case. It's there. Pull out the scope. You're not mangling up the foam. There's a spot for your camera. Maybe you're using an ASI Air. There's a spot for that as well, right? And all you have to do is just worry about how you're going to get your mount to where you're going. You've got your scope all ready to go, airplane travel ready if you need it to be. So but the whole theme of Starfield was to take astrophotography equipment to a certain level of quality and ease of use and an out-of-the-box turnkey solution.
That's pretty cool. That's really, you got some shout outs as well. I don't know if you saw them come across the screen, but it looks like my buddy Dave on Long Island said, you make my favorite filter wheel. So
oh, great. I appreciate that.
So that's pretty cool. We got 45 people watching already. So hey, that's really great.
Steve's mom and her friends.
Hey, Gertie, come on, you gotta watch it. It's my boy here. So, but that's great. And we've all, honestly, Starfield, the one of the ways that I got introduced to Starfield was through Sean and his pictures. He started doing imaging. I don't think the Newt was the first one.
No, it wasn't. No, it was
right?
The Gear 80 was the first one that I actually
right.
used. Yeah. It was a nice little scope and stuff. Worked great. The 8-inch reflector, the astrograph, has been amazing too. I know people think that reflectors are more work and whatnot, and they probably are a little bit, but I've actually had really good success. It's held collimation really well. I've only adjusted it twice in the last since I had it June, I guess, of last year. So I've only adjusted the collimation twice, and the last time was just recently because of the weather changes, the temperatures and stuff going on. But it's worked out really well, and it's a light collecting beast. It just, the results are just fabulous. Like, I'm blown away by it. I'm getting better results with it than I did with some of the refractors that I used previously. So I'm really impressed with the design and the quality of the Starfield Optics and telescopes and accessories.
Yeah, so that's the beauty of Newts, is it's a big light bucket, right? And it, as we all know, right? And this is what I explain to customers too. A telescope doesn't magnify anything, right? It collects light. So having that larger aperture is going to give you, that much more light. And you, Sean, you've taken it to the next level too with the reducer that you're using, bringing it down.
Yeah,
to 3.
I did. Right? Yeah, I did that. Yeah, you sent me a reducer, which was fine. We keep it at f4, but Steve from Starzona sent me one of the Nexus f3 reducers to put on it and try. And I've been running with that, and the results have just been incredible. Like I've changed the way I image too, going down to shorter subs and higher gain. That's been working out really well in combination with that Starfield 8-inch scope. So I highly recommend the Starfield brand for sure.
Yeah, no, it's I really appreciate that coming from you, Sean, because the work that you do is just amazing. So to be able to take collect good data, right? Mm-hmm. And then get the results. I think that's what we're all after, right? We want to make sure that the data we collect is good. And that was one of the things that we were trying to achieve, is to make sure that the data that's collected is quality data, right? Mm-hmm. We can't do anything about sky conditions. We can't do anything about high cloud, but at least if you're going to get high cloud, the high cloud will look good. But the Newt is really interesting. We have it in the 8 and the 10-inch. We're expecting to be able to supply a 12-inch as well, f4. Hopefully by the summer, if not sooner. That I think would satisfy another market as well. There are people that like Newts. One of my first imaging scopes was a Newt. I had a Meade. I still have it actually, a Meade Schmidt-Newtonian f4, and I quite like that scope. It's a very, very good scope, except when you drop it and you get a dent. Then you put it away and you don't look at it for a long time. I like the whole idea of that big light bucket, right? I think it to be able to collect that much more light to get that higher resolution in that image, especially like you're using larger sensor cameras as well, right? To take advantage of that field of view that you get with an 8-inch f4, in your case an f3, I can't think of the term, but I think you kind of get the idea what I'm getting at, right? Like it takes it to a whole different level. I love refractors because they're simple, right? I don't like collimating, right? And you can get some really, really high contrast images with the refractor. Plus, there's the portability side of it. But nothing really beats getting all that light, right? I know everything that we make and we sell it is more towards DSO imaging. But in the back of my mind, I keep hearing Christopher Go saying aperture is king, right?
He's talking about some comments in there.
Right. Steve, what coma corrector? So Steve, what coma corrector are you using with your Newts? Is it the Beta MPCC3?
No. It's a just a, I don't want to say basic, but it's just a standard. Actually, it's a 1.1 coma corrector, so it brings it up a little bit higher than f4. But it can also be used for visual, so it's a combination visual and imaging coma corrector. But what's interesting and nice about this coma corrector that we have, it has a longer back focus on it. So instead of 55 millimeters, it gives you a 75 millimeter back focus. And that allows us to then have more accessories in between. Sure. Sometimes you get a filter wheel that's a little bit thicker than you want it to be. right? Or you're going to put a rotator in there, right? Which would be kind of heavy overall, but or you start putting all the fittings and fittings and spacers and stuff, and you start getting beyond that 55 millimeter. It's always easy for us to add spacers, right? It's hard to squish it together, right?
Hard to contact it.
Yeah, like we could try to put it under that press to see if we can get it down, but usually, the electronics don't like that.
No. Dave, actually, I don't know if you saw it go across the screen, but had a question about thoughts on a long focal length newt for planetary.
Long focal length newt for planetary. I've seen it done. If you're asking if we're planning to bring something like that out, no, we're not. But I've seen it. I've seen it done. They're not as popular anymore, right? And I was reading the comment as well. They don't exist anymore in the market and gives SCTs run for the money. I agree, right? You don't have the same. I don't think you'd have the same collimation complexities with a long newt as you would with an SCT. You won't have issues like mirror flop,
right?
As you could have with an SCT. But I think just a long focal length newt has kind of gone the way of the long focal length refractor, right? There aren't too many F15 4-inch refractors anymore. As beautiful as they are, and I had one.
Oh
right?
yeah.
They just don't exist anymore.
Yeah, you're gonna have to get something of that age. You're gonna have to go to an observatory. I know I have seen a couple of 10-inch D&Bs. I know that Dave got an 8-inch. What is it? An 8-inch F12.
What, Dan? You don't have one in your closet of death?
No. I need a longer closet of death to fit that in there. So it won't actually do it. But and the piece at Camera Concepts, what we have right in the front door is paired 6-inch refractors into binoculars on this mount. It's crazy, and it's a beautiful thing. I believe it's D&B that made it, but I could be wrong on that. But it's paired 6-inch refractors and teleview diagonals, and it moves like butter. It's wonderful thing.
Well, Woodland Hills has an OOUK newt, and I'm not a real fan of OOUK build quality.
Yeah, but we went through that, all right, didn't we?
Yeah, trust me, I'm not a fan of that. But they've got a 67-inch long newt that's available that they just want to get rid of just at the cost. So you might want to check that out.
You got to fly your own plane to get it in. Get it somewhere. Everyone's asking how much for the 67-inch.
Just go check it out under the used section under Woodland Hills Camera and Telescope.
It's like call for details. That's what it is. So
we'll leave it at that with the build quality.
Tarek has a 7-inch F15. Steve, where do you source out your mirrors for the newts?
Oh, I can't tell trade secrets.
That's trade secrets, man. You can't say that.
You know what? Our mirrors are made by professional mirror makers, right? They are built and measured. They're ground and then measured to a specific standard. So the minimum is a 10th wave mirror.
Okay.
For the newts and for our Dobsonian line, which we sell in Canada.
Okay.
Which I think is pretty high quality for
1/10 wave
for that price point.
Oh yeah. I think you meant to say newts. So about what's the weight of these newts? As far as just regular OTA weight. I mean, again, I know that's a broad question, but
hold on. Let me check this. I should have this. I know you're gonna need a substantial size scope. Okay, so an 8-inch, with the accessories of the rings and the dovetail bar, you're looking at 20 pounds.
Oh,
And then a 10-inch right now comes in at 34 pounds.
it's not bad. That's not bad.
No. So, so you're looking like EQ6 mount, no problem, right?
Yep.
The 10-inch might be pushing it a bit, maybe, right? As long as you
At
get your balance
34
on
plus
point.
accessories, yeah, that's
Yeah, probably pushing it. So you'd want to have maybe a stronger mount, maybe like a CGX or a CEM70 type mount. The new Skywatcher CQ350, right, would be well suited for that kind of OTA.
nice.
What do you think of that, Steve? What do you think of that new CQ350 compared to the harmonic mounts that are out?
Oh, you can't ask me.
Like, I mean, it's apples and oranges, but I mean, the cost of the 350 is quite a bit more than you can go get a good harmonic mount for maybe, I don't want to say half the price, but you know what I mean? Less anyways.
Well, let's take a look. Let's take a look what's on the market for harmonic, right? Right now, we look at something like the Pegasus Astro Nix 101, right? Great mount. And there you go.
Dan's got one.
Sorry.
Great mount. I've heard really good things about it. We sold out on them ourselves with our other shop, and they have some amazing features in it. And the guys at Pegasus did a great job on their first mount to come out the door. The price point of it though is still below that what you get like the CQ350. Right. The CQ, and it's got, I don't want to say half the payload, but a 45-pound payload versus a 77-pound payload, right? And that's going to be the real difference. To get into a similar payload from a harmonic mount, it's substantial. The price difference is much higher. I know this isn't an apples to apples comparison again. They look at like the Rainbow Astro RST 300, right, which runs for what, 9,000 US, 13 Canadian,
500,
right? Yeah. So it's much more money, but you get the higher payload with it.
Yeah.
What I think is interesting with the CQ350, it's been around for a little while, so it's a proven mount. It's just new to the North American market. It's interesting to see that they've taken on that center balance design, which we originally started to see from Ioptron first before we saw it from other manufacturers. So it'd be interesting to see how it does in the North American market. I like how they've dressed it with a really big heavy duty tripod. The tripod box is bigger than the mount box. It's massive. So yeah, now if I think if somebody came out with a, I'll call it a mid-range, right, 70-pound class harmonic mount, then I think that we have a real player in the game, and then it kind of levels out the playing field as well, because then really we should start seeing the cost between the mounts to be relatively the same, right? Between your traditional equatorial with a counterweight versus harmonic.
Well, let me ask
you.
you.
The Hopen mounts have that capacity. They've got 4 models, and they'll fit from 25, 50 to 75 to 110. So they'll do that. The only problem with the Hopen is they don't have a brake.
Yeah, there's no emergency brake. Yep.
Yeah.
So let me ask a question. I've been just like everybody else in the channel, everyone else on the show, have been watching with great interest as far as these harmonic mounts have seemed to just all of a sudden go from 1 to 5, 5 major players under 4 major players under $3,000 in a matter of months. And what I'm seeing is now correct me if I'm wrong. I mean, I've been wrong before. I won't be the first time, but if you take something like the AM5, right? AM5, was it 26 pounds without a counterweight, 44 width or something like that, right? And then you get the HEM27, same thing, same counterweight. So there's some issues with that mount, in my opinion, but whatever. Well, I'm just talking apples to apples. Now you get up to the, we'll skip a couple.
and we'll go to the Pegasus, which is 44 pounds without a counterweight, right? But you notice that it's getting a little bit bulkier, bigger than the AM5s and the HEM27s, probably just due because of the payload. You know, you more payload, you need a bigger gear, maybe, whatever the case may be. Now, if we get up to a 70 pound, now the question that I have, we get up to a 70-pound capacity harmonic mount, does that now start to intrude on the extreme portability?
I don't know about that. I think it comes down to engineering, right? And the actual design of the mount itself. You look at in the 30-pound class range, right? The AM5, the HEM27, the HAE29.
Yep.
The iopter mounts are actually quite small, right? If you look at the Rainbow Astro RST 135,
true,
that's a 30-pound class mount without a payload, without a counterweight, rather, right? And that's a tiny, tiny mount.
It is.
Like,
actually,
it's physically small.
Scott has one on the bottom left.
Yeah, it's very well engineered. And the RST 300, right? I have one, right? It weighs 20 pounds and it fits in a little carry-on bag,
Yeah.
right? It is quite small.
Yeah.
So I think it really comes down to engineering. Now, in having said that, Rainbow Astro, they're also a robotics company.
Yeah.
Right. The parent company, Rainbow Robotics, right? They essentially took one of the robots, cut off the shoulder,
and made a telescope mount out of it.
put it the other way in a dovetail. There you go. You got a mount, right? So I think it comes down to engineering. Like I applaud these companies that are coming out with these new mounts and shaking up the market. I think in the next few years we'll see everybody having a harmonic mount, right? Including the Celestrons and Skywatchers and the Explore Scientifics of the world, right? Will have a harmonic mount, and they'll start to the prices will start coming down, and then we'll get nicer looking, more well engineered mounts. I think for a lot of these companies, we're still in the concept phase, right?
Okay.
As they get their feet wet, which it's something that like I'm working on now. Like Dan and you and I talked about this earlier. I mentioned to you about one of the projects we're working on for the Dobsonians,
Yep.
the plug and play kit that we have, right? I'll tell you right now, it's ugly, but it works, right? And I think it's just the there's a saying I heard, kind of like the pursuit of perfection.
Pete.
It's gonna hold you back, right? You kind of have to get it out, learn from what you have out there, and I think that's what these companies are doing, right? To take down these big mounts that shouldn't be that big, and then learn from it and bring them down smaller.
Well, to add to what you're just saying right there, Steve, you got to define what is portable. Portable to different people has a different meaning.
Yep.
Case in point, if you're 20 years old, portable could be a 100-pound setup, right? When you're 70 years old, portability is an RST 135 with an 80 millimeter refractor.
Portable to me in 2002 was an 18-inch obsession. For the past 5 years, my obsession has been in storage because I'm just getting too old to lug it around.
Exactly. And it's funny is as you get older, that definition of portability becomes very critical because you have to define what is it that you want to be able to say, okay, tonight I want to go up, I want to set up at dusk and tear down at dawn. And if it's a portable setup, you're absolutely right. You cannot beat these harmonic drive mounts. God bless, they're great. And as I said, now when you want to get into the high precision mounts, case in point, the AP, the 10 micron, then you can get into the 1000s, the GMS 2000s for the 10 micron. Yeah, I mean, they do separate into the RA and the deck sections. Phenomenal if you want to say do untracking, unguided for say 10 or 15 minutes. And that is phenomenal. But once again, the total weight on a 2000 10 micron mount is going to be 75 pounds. So it really kind of comes down to, what's my definition of being able to say, how do I define what my portability is going to be? Is it going to be, say, 40 pounds, 50 pounds, 75 pounds? And I agree with you. If you're talking about a harmonic drive mount and you can put it on, say, a Gitsu 3500 series tripod, carbon fiber, how do you beat that? You can't. And so I agree with you there on that.
Yeah, the key thing for me, I agree with everything you just said. Portability, because the portability is relative. I've had several people tell me that like a Celestron 9 1/4 is the edge of portability, right? Before anything else beyond that becomes unwieldy. And I kind of agree. I don't really see too many people lugging around C14s, right? And putting them up by themselves easily, right? I've seen it done, not easily, right? And but then you have everything else that has to go with it. The one saving grace, one of the reasons why I went harmonic is I have a really bad habit of leaving my counterweight at home for star parties. So that was always something that I looked at, like, this is what I need, right? Because I'm going to keep forgetting that counterweight over and over again and ruining my night or my weekend. So to me, that adds portability, because that's one less thing that I also have to carry around, right? Plus, again, you get them in these small cases, right? Dan, you could take your Nix 101 and you can throw it up on top of an airplane carry-on, and away you go, right?
Yep.
Right.
Now, if I could only fit my AP scope in there, I'll be all right.
No. But we talk about portability, and I saw a couple of comments on as well regarding one of our new designs that we're coming out with. I've talked to Sean about this as well. We have our new 60 millimeter quad that will be released if everything goes well. We should be seeing them here in the shop in April, just in time for NEAF. Right, we'll be launching this at NEAF. So if you're coming to NEAF this April, please stop by our table. You'll be able to see the full lineup. But we have actually, if I can share my screen.
Yeah.
If I can do this, there we go. Okay.
And make you big. There you go. Wow.
Okay. So this is our Gear 60 quad, right? Which is a 60 millimeter F5 Petzl Apo. So it's a 2-element on the front aperture and a 2-element flattener on the back. It's shown here with the optional motorized focuser, right? What's interesting about this focuser is it's not necessarily fixed. We can give it a twist forward, and it distinctly engages the clutch, so then we can manually focus it in. So we get into rough focus, re-engage the motor, and then we can go through our focus routine in Nina or APT or whatever software we're using. And then because the flattener is built in, it's a Petzl design. All we have to do is come into focus. So we're not worried about back focus. We can just attach a camera and come into focus, do it, and we're off to the races. So it simplifies the again, going back to the spirit of Starfield, it simplifies imaging and just getting out there faster. So we're really, really excited about this 6 millimeter quad with a 300 millimeter focal length. Again, comes with a case. You can see the built-in handle. That handle is functional, right? It's got the ability to attach stuff directly to it. We can clamp to it. It's a Vixen or a Arca Swiss connection.
Steve,
and we can throw I'm sorry?
The focuser, is that the Optec Direct Sync?
No, it's not. It's similar. It looks similar to it, but it's not it's not made by Optec.
Okay.
We're dealing with another manufacturer. It's very similar to it, though. It's got all the electronics built into it. So it's just a matter of plugging in your USB in a 12 volts, which I really like that it is 12 volt.
Mhm.
And so you get the proper lift out of it to handle your equipment.
So just out of curiosity, the connector, is that a 2.1 or a 2.5 millimeter? If you wanted
It's
to consider
2.1.
using like Pegasus with it.
That's 2.1.
2.1. Okay.
Yep. Oh, you know what? Sorry. Let me share my screen one more time.
Yep. You're still, yeah. Well, now you're back to you.
Now I'm back to me. All right.
Yeah. There we go.
All right. So one other thing that I forgot to mention that we've integrated, made sure this was integrated as part of the scope, is we can see, if we look at this knob here, this is a camera angle adjuster, right? So you have a manual rotator built into it. With Nina 6300 Pro, it has a manual rotator widget, whatever you want to call it. So when you do your plate solve, and when you're framing up your shot, it'll tell you which way to turn, how many degrees. And then it doesn't really come out that well in the image, but this is a camera tilter, a tilt plate on the back. So if there's any tilt in your optical system, right, you can find it. Various software tools to do that. You can find direct where the tilt is, and then you can adjust it to take the tilt right out of the image train. So it's
is it a push pull?
It is a push pull.
Nice.
It's actually very similar to what you would have on Red Cat. The last couple of versions of Red Cat have the tilt plate on the back.
Yep.
Very, very similar to that. So there's 4 points of tilt. You can't see the other two; they're on the other side.
Yep.
So it's a complete imaging system. To just attach your camera and go.
Yeah, that looks
And
great.
and I know we're talking about super portable.
It's very portable.
Yeah.
Hey, man, it looks like you got a lot of great stuff going on in Starfield, and it's great to it's unfortunate that in the U.S. that Starfield it's starting to get well known down here, but it's nice to get more exposure to it and learn a lot more about your business.
Yeah, and you're right, and I appreciate the opportunity to be able to talk about it, and to share what what we're all about and the products that we're offering.
So you were telling me, what were you telling me with the filter wheel? You were telling that some customers were actually stacking the filter wheels in a way where you could get.
Yeah. So I didn't. Let me walk over and I'll go grab one and I'll show you.
Show me, because I thought that was interesting, and I could be totally misinterpreting it in my head, but like he was like talking about sandwiching 2 filter wheels to get more filter spots, and because
so
there's no
be like FLI filters where they had the 2 carousels within the 1 filter wheel assembly.
Maybe,
and that's exactly what I was curious about, is to find out.
Okay, so here's our filter wheel. Right, this is a 5-position, 1.25 inches. We also make a 2-inch 5-position 7x36 and an 8x 1.25. This is, you can see from the profile, right?
Steve,
very
do you do 50 millimeter on mounted?
No, not yet. Not yet. And we're also looking at doing square as well, but there's some design changes we need to make to it. Okay. But you can see there's no protrusions to it. There's nothing sticking out. This is 19 millimeters overall. So this is the inside of the wheel, right? So we have our circuitry. It's all USB powered, and then the motor unit in worm gear right, will operate the carousel. So everything's all integrated as one package. What some customers have done, right? We don't have a full driver for this, so people have written their own software. And there's been companies that aren't even in astronomy that they're using it for medical machines. They've taken the two and they'll put them together, right? And actually, we have one customer that does 3. So now they can have multiple filters. And if they were to call, say, filter 13, right? It'll bring up on the third wheel, it'll bring up that filter, and then the other 2 will go to a clear position, and then they can take their do what they need to do with that one filter. The code for it is very simple. It's essentially G code to tell the position of the filter which one you want. So if somebody really wanted to do that and customize their own imaging rig, and they were able to write their driver, they can do that as well.
That's pretty interesting. That's pretty amazing.
And, and we make these here, right? This is a made in Canada filter wheel, and I like to think of it as one of the only, if not the only, filter wheel that you can buy that's made in North America. That'll work with anyone's camera. Other manufacturers, they make fantastic wheels, and this isn't a slight against any of them. Their filter wheels will only work with their cameras, right? So if you had an old camera and you didn't want to let it go and say the filter wheel died, then you can still use the camera just by attaching our wheel to it and continue on with your imaging. You probably even pick up some backspace too because it's thinner.
Hey, Steve, quick question. I'm a systems integrator. So the question I want to ask you is that I like this idea here. And I like the fact that as you will probably be growing into making these filter wheels, would you consider going to 50 millimeter square? And would you make a carousel for a 65 millimeter square filter?
Something to think about. Something to think about.
Yeah, the 50 millimeter square is not that difficult to do. We've looked at our existing footprint, right? The actual case itself, right? And we can do a 50 millimeter square or a 50 millimeter round unmounted with that shouldn't be a problem, right? The code wouldn't change. It would just be a different carousel for it.
Right. The
65 millimeter might be a bit of a challenge because then we start getting into a larger case. And if there was a I think as a manufacturer, if there was a significant quantity involved, right, then it can be done. It's just the cost of actually making the material, right, might be prohibitive, right, compared to how many we might actually move.
See, the reason I'm asking is I put plane wave systems together, and I do the whole optical train. Question is I used to look at ordering FLI, but FLI is getting basically out of the filter wheel market. They've only limited now down to like from close to 12 filter wheels. They're down to about 4. And we're looking at image circles of anywhere from 70 up to 80 millimeter image circles. So when we look at 4040, like a G-Sense 4040 sensor, I need to really have a large size filter wheel and the carousel. And usually I'm working at 50 millimeter square, even up to 65 millimeter square. And I'm having a hard time now trying to find these particular filter wheels. So I'm looking for sources. And it's amazing that you'll see that wouldn't say it's going to be a large market, but there will definitely be a market for it. So it's something that I'm just kind of thinking about in the near 6 to 8 months down the road. I've got to look for another source. So just food for thought. If you're interested, I would be definitely interested in definitely talking to you.
Yeah, let's talk. And I got the wheel spinning. I have to make a couple of calls on some stuff. But yeah, hey, nothing's impossible, right? nothing's impossible. So we can definitely see what we can do, right?
There we go.
And maybe find a solution that'll work.
Cool. That's
Awesome.
awesome. So we spoke about. Let's talk a little bit about that push to that you were talking about with the Dob.
Oh yeah. So this is something that we've been working on. It's actually attached to our Dob in the shop, so I can't pull it over.
No.
But
Yeah.
Again, mentioning earlier about keeping things easy, right? I think again, to get out there really quick and make sure your equipment is ready to go right away. We've been designing this push-to system so our telescope, our Dob, and then other Dobs are very similar to it, right? This actually just literally bolts on. So it's like my car days, my tuner car days in the late 90s, early 2000s, where you're looking to get that extra 3 horsepower with a simple bolt-on option without ripping apart your engine, right? So this is very similar, where it's literally it attaches to the side of the rocker box. 2 screws screw in to hold it in place, and that will give us our altitude measurement. And then the second encoder attaches directly to the azimuth bolt that's already existing on the scope, so you don't have to take anything apart. Again, it's just a matter of this snapping. Actually, I have, there's an example of it, right? And it just literally snaps onto the bolt that's there. So as the and then there's a holder that screws it down to the actual case, the base. And as the scope turns, right, there's something that's always going to be stationary.
Sure.
But there's going to be some rotation movement there that will be picked up by an encoder. The nice thing about this is that it's it uses the digital setting circles protocol. Nothing out of the ordinary, nothing proprietary here. So lots of software supports that. If you've got Sky Safari Plus or higher, it's just a Wi-Fi connection to the electronics, and then you synchronize your scope as to where you're pointing, select what you want to see, follow the arrow, and where you go. So it's like any other push-to system, but the basis is just anyone who has our Dob or a similar Dob, right, mechanically can then go and pop it on, and you're up and running in 10 minutes, if that, right? Depends how quickly you can turn that screwdriver, and keep it simple. But the key thing, and this is what's been driving us crazy over the past little while, is again, to keep it easy, we want to be able to make it simple for the OTA to actually come off the rocker box itself. So when you're transporting it, you're not having to take anything apart. You just lift up the scope, and away you go.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's cool, man.
Yeah, so we hopefully, well, that should be able to be purchased soon. We're doing the manufacturing in-house on that as well, right here in Ontario, and then but we'll have it at NEAF so people can check it out.
That's awesome. Nice. So we got about 44 people hanging in there, 40 to 50 people hanging in there, chatting away in the storm. It looks like they're all having fun in the chat. Not a lot of questions right now.
I saw a question.
There was a question.
I'm looking back
about the ASI Air. It will not work with an ASI Air. I was trying to go back to find the question. Who asked that question?
It's correct. ASI Air can work with anything once WO care to open it.
Well,
yeah.
That's not going to happen. So
no.
So that's what I call closed source. So
yeah, and I get it. It makes sense, right? Because they want to be able to make sure they can support the system. So if another manufacturer's equipment is on there and something's not working, the finger pointing happens, right?
Exactly.
When I was in the this goes back 25 years, right? In computer repair business, right? Which is it? Is it the software? Is it the hardware, right?
Yep.
And then everyone's pointing their fingers at each other as to where the problem is. You can't really get an answer sometimes. So I can see them wanting to avoid to have that problem and have control over the system so they can support it.
Yeah, the software guys saying just reboot it, and the hardware guys saying it's just rewrite it. We all get the whole ZWO kind of lockouts and it's the only way that they could also kind of not guarantee, but support their product. I mean, that's like saying go to somebody from Ford and say, hey, I got this Lamborghini, can you fix it? It's not going to happen, because you just don't even have the parts or don't have the know-how.
Yep. I will say that there is an indie driver, right, that exists for the filter wheel. So if you're looking to use a Raspberry Pi based system, Astroberry, StellarMate, right, it's all supported through there. That driver's been around for a while. It's bulletproof, right? It works. We are looking at updating the ASCOM driver right now, right? It is currently in development to be refreshed and brought up to newer technology, right? Within Windows, right? Just to ensure compatibility going forward, because it is older, but it works fine. There's nothing wrong with it. But it's just time for a revamp or refresh, right? Just to keep current with Windows and make sure that Microsoft doesn't put an update out and then it blocks
something, anything. Yeah,
right? And we're all stuck on the dark filter for the entire night. So
yeah, there's been enough blocking in the software industry over the past couple of months, but that's all I'll say about that. But for those of you that watch the show, you guys know what I'm talking about. But I won't touch on it anyway. Else from there, that's a dead situation as of now. So
everybody's telling Scott to wake up.
Yeah, I know.
Oh no! Here we go. All right. So, wait, we got in the bottom picture, I see Darth Vader in the background, and the small one, I just see the light in the background.
Charity was talking about my lightsaber and stuff again.
So
I was like, I was hoping the chat wouldn't go that way about my light. Yeah, there it is. Thanks, Dan.
Sorry. There you go.
I'll just have to turn it off next time.
No, you can't do that. But it's the whole ambiance behind you. It's a one. I don't have that ambiance. I need a bigger room without a closet of death in it. That's what I need. But yeah. So what else? What anything in the future works for Starfield that we can look at?
So
I don't want to blow anything. No.
I'm glad you asked, right? Because we're always thinking of something. We are as a company, we're looking into other markets as well. I know it's not astronomy, but we're looking into the sport optics market right now, and we're forging some partnerships with some other companies to serve the Canadian market in sports optics. And from an astronomy side, we'll continue on with the 60 millimeter as mentioned. I'm so excited about that scope. I really am. It's a beautiful little scope, performs really well. And then looking at larger apertures. So in the roadmap right now is 130 millimeter OTA. It's funny, we mentioned about long focal length refractors. We have been playing with 102 millimeter f10 ED. An f11 ED, which is more geared towards solar applications. That's where we've been finding that would work really well. And there's a lot of interest in with solar guys for a long focal length scope like that. And then the talking about solar, we just launched a solar wedge, a 2-inch solar wedge, which is perfect timing, I think, for the solar eclipse later this year, and then our solar eclipse that we should all be enjoying April of next year.
Yeah.
Right. I see a question here from George. Does Starfield match flatteners and reducers, imaging scopes? Yes, we do. And you know what? I'm sorry I didn't mention that earlier, but we have a line of fixed flatteners and reducers, standard 55 millimeter back focus, but we have, and Sean played with this as well. For our Gear Series scopes, we have an adjustable reducer, and we just launched an adjustable flattener as well. It's a 0.8 reducer. What makes it adjustable is that the actual back focus is, actually, let me bring it up. On the reducer, for example, our back focus is going to be 69 millimeters.
Okay.
That's the back focus of the reducer. Now, it has a helical adjustment on the back that we can actually bring the back of that reducer out, right, to whatever back focus we need it to be. So if we wanted to have a 55 millimeter back focus, it's a matter of taking 69 millimeters, subtract 55 millimeters, we're left with 14 millimeters. Yeah. So we just literally dial. Yeah. I've been up for a very long time today.
I know.
We literally dial the reducer, and we look at the markings. We get the 14 millimeters, lock it in, and now we have that 55 millimeter back focus we need. What does this do for us? Now we can start to, if we need to fine tune, take a picture. We can see the corners of where we want. We can make an adjustment in or out. We can then, actually, I should go grab one. Say we have some more accessories. So we have a filter wheel, and we have a rotator and some spacers in between. And we want, and we're beyond that 55 millimeters with all that equipment, right? We can then make an adjustment in that reducer to give us more back focus from that metal back part out. So it's just another little feature. There's other manufacturers that do that as well. They do it a little bit differently than we do. But it gives us the ability now, gives the imager now the ability to fine tune without the need to I'm off a little bit, take everything apart, put in a 1 millimeter metal spacer, put it all back together, right? Oh, it's too much, take it all apart, swap it out for a 0.5 millimeter spacer, put it all back together, right? So now we can just simply adjust it and fine tune it.
What's the thread size of that reducer?
The thread size? Yeah.
When we look at M68, M54,
M63.
M63. Whoa, that's an odd. Yeah, that's a very oddball.
Right. You know.
Yeah,
I
well,
do
our
have
focusers,
an M63 precise parts in my closet of death. So if anybody wants it for a Starfield Optics reducer, contact me and I'll sell it for you. We'll make a deal.
Yeah. We also have an M92 as well.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah, M92 is typical of Takahashi, the old Takahashis were M92. Yeah.
The M60, because the focuser, the draw tube, the internal threading on that is M63. So the reducer will thread directly to the draw tube itself, right? So it all becomes one unit, and I'm sure we can all agree that that's going to be a lot better than having the compression fitting on there, which could become loose. Your camera ends up on the ground, and it might. And if you have an accessory where it's not perfectly square, where it has that taper on it, right? You might not get that secure fit with the compression type fitting. But yeah, that's something that we we do supply with it's an optional accessory, right? Depending if you want to go with a reducer or a flattener. We have two different sizes depending on the OTA that you would buy.
Nice. Well, you know what? I don't know if you noticed, we got our other wingman on the show. We got Eric. So welcome back to Eric. Eric was quitting work, and that's he called in sick tonight, but he decided to show up and hang out with us. So
yeah, I figured I'd come in, say hi, and no, I had we have a team building event at work where my whole crew from around the country is in town, and I'm hosting them, and we just had to wrap up dinner and all that fun stuff. So now I'm here. So thank you for joining us. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, so I know Eric missed some of the show, but he's back with us. He's got his fan club in there, all screaming at, "Hey, what's up, Eric?" So we're gonna have the Eric fan club. That's what we're gonna do. We're gonna a picture of Eric on a T-shirt.
So no, and I was Steve. I actually saw a couple of your astrophotography podcast, and and was listening. I listened to quite a few of your podcasts, and they were really great. And recently, I was listening to the one that you were meeting with Pegasus.
Yes.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. Really enjoyed those. So you did some great stuff there.
I appreciate that. Thank you. It's nice to meet you, Eric, as well.
Yeah,
I appreciate you listening to the podcast. It's been I haven't been putting out as many as I should. There's somebody on this panel who says that they're going to record with me one day, but we can never nail anything down.
Really?
I think
Pete, is there something that is there, Pete? Are you planning on something?
Yeah, hey, I'm always looking for guests to join me. We actually I just finished recording one this past Saturday. I just finished editing it with my good buddy Tom, the Asper Canuck, and he's been on in the past before. So we talked about some stuff, and it was a little goofy at times, but we try to keep it on what's relevant of the time. So we have this comet going through. I've been living under a dome of clouds, except tonight where it's beautifully clear. And
don't you hate when that happens? You come on, you say, okay, I've got this show I'm doing. Everything's been all cloudy and everything. It should be fine. I should be all good. And all of a sudden, you come on our show.
No, you know what though? I'll be honest with you. I'm gonna be too tired to do anything. I've been up since 4:30, so I wish I could say it was for imaging purposes, but it wasn't. It was more self-punishment. But no, I appreciate you listening. That whole podcast has evolved since we started it back in 2018, and I like to think that it gives some good information to people.
Oh yeah, it does. I mean, I personally enjoy it. I mean, I listen to it on Audible, and I'm having I have a really good time listening to it. Sean, what you waiting for, man? Hop onto the podcast. What you waiting for, dude?
I don't know what happened there actually, because we had talked about that. Wow, I bet it was like a year ago. We talked about doing a podcast, and it just never. I don't know what happened. We just never got together and did it. So we'll have to definitely do that though, for sure. Yeah. Just get in touch with me, or I'll get in touch with you, and we'll figure something out. Work out a time to do it.
All right, tomorrow 10 a.m.
There you go. There it is. You heard it here first. You heard it here on AstroWorld.
Telling you.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. But no, I appreciate you listening to that. It's
I enjoy it.
It's fun. I'll be honest with you. It was kind of a crazy thing. Let's do a podcast. Okay. And then it kind of grew into this thing, right? Where I'm getting emails saying, why are you being lazy? Give us another podcast. And
where's the next podcast?
Yeah, where's the next podcast? Which is cool. You start looking at where it's being listened to in the world. You mentioned you listened to it on Audible. I had no idea we were even on Audible, and it's that's crazy. So I love it. Hey, I see that Wayne. Wayne dropped in.
Yeah, Wayne's
Wayne
out in the chat, and it seems like we have an artist in the group. We have an artist group. I think somebody just came up with our new T-shirt logo. I'm sure that this is definitely going to be a bestseller, without a doubt. And
it's for the Eric fan club.
There you go. And there it is. That's going to be the new T-shirt. Oh man!
Great. I want to buy that shirt. I'll wear it on my Saturday morning.
I actually want one too.
So we're gonna have that. So we're gonna have the we're gonna have the Pete Case in Point Myers shirt. We're gonna have we'll have Scott with one of those cheese heads on there. I don't know. I'll have me like this in the closet of death.
Right.
But anyway,
you know how I am with you know how I am.
You know. Yeah, I know.
Yep.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, it's all good.
Yeah. So let's see. Sold. I'll take 5. Dylan said.
There you go. Thank you.
There you go. We may sell more Eric T-shirts, and I may have to give him royalties.
Hey, thank you all for showing up and and joining AstroWorld. Really appreciate it. I'm looking here and let me see.
He had to get in.
Everything is good. Actually, everything is good. Everybody's doing. I show up and everybody's doing what they're supposed to do. Everybody's giving.
Actually, the number was that high before you got here, so I just want to say,
Oh, well, whatever. All right.
I'm just playing.
It wasn't because I showed up. Okay. They're like, oh man, you gotta smash the like button. Smash it.
All I know is that right before you came in, I said we have 2 more watches to go to 50, and now we're down to 39 after you showed up. So
you know what?
Well,
see, this is what I put up with. This is what I put up with. But very, I enjoy being here on you guys with you guys. I got something to share with you guys.
Yes,
too.
I saw you say something in the chat that you said.
Yes, I have some news to share because, as I said, I have been doing this team building thing with my company, and I've been hosting it and planning all these different tours and all this stuff to manufacturing sites. And I want to share something what I think is very, very cool. So let me share this here on the entire screen. And let me know when you can see that.
For some reason, yours is not coming up full screen, but let me see.
Let me know when you see that.
I see it, but it's small. So give me a second. I don't know why it's not.
Okay.
There we go. I got you.
Maybe if I back, I can zoom in and zoom out.
You're full screen. Yeah, you're good now.
Full screen?
Yep.
Okay. I had the opportunity yesterday to go to a local company here in Rockford, Illinois. A very large manufacturing company, Ingersoll Machine Tools, and they make humongous machines. I mean, you're talking massive machines. Anyway, what I am standing there in front of is the structure and soon to be the workspace and base for the structure for the GMTO,
Well,
the
explain
Giant
it.
Magellan
Yeah, thank
Telescope
you.
Observatory. That's going to be in 2025, going to be in South America, in Chile, in the desert. This company, this local company, which I had no idea about, but just by coincidence, they are heavily involved with a lot of with NASA and with a lot of universities, the U.S. government doing different things. But this is where they will be building the structure for the Giant Magellan Telescope. And they're also going to be designing, they also are going to be building and they work with NASA on the Artemis 3 project and the Orion lunar orbiter, and will be building machines that they will be launched, that they will plan on sending out and launching to build the lunar habitat that'll basically 3D print. They have machines that land on the lunar surface and use the surface substrate and everything mix, and they're going to actually start building the lunar habitat. So
Nice.
And possibly even for Mars. So being in this massive building, that's just a half hour away from my home, and being here and checking this out, it was quite an experience. And I may even have a chance to actually meet the GMTO team maybe in the near future. But I wanted to share this with everybody because I thought it was, really, really cool to have this opportunity. So you see me in my safety glasses and, steel toes and everything. But yeah, it was that was something that was pretty awesome that happened to me this week. So yeah, wanted to share that.
Nice.
That's great.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
That's really cool.
Yeah, it was pretty cool stuff, and yeah, having all that stuff being so close, I never knew it was going to be right there in my own backyard. So pretty awesome stuff.
That is pretty cool. So that's nice. That's looking. I went over to Chicago to go hang out with Eric, and went to Chicago for work, and went to the Alden Observatory, and it had a big door on the observatory. It said "Big Scope inside." I go to open up the door, and it's locked. They closed the observertory.
Wow.
Yeah.
They closed the Atlas on you. Yeah, they knew you were coming. They said, "Oh, there it is. Yeah, we're shutting you down."
They knew I was coming to Chicago.
They were on the other side of the door laughing.
Yeah.
Look at the guy with the goatee.
That's it.
But yeah, so that's pretty cool, Eric. That's pretty cool stuff.
Yeah. So I was want, don't mean to, I wanted to just share that. I thought that was, something really cool this week.
Nice.
In the day in the life of what.
There was a question from Mikey Astro.
Yeah,
I'm just trying to find it again.
Mikey, yeah.
Let me see.
Oh yeah, he was. Yeah, I think there's going to be import fees and taxes no matter what. As soon as it goes over a certain dollar amount.
Yeah, once it goes over the border, you'll get something.
Yeah,
you'll get hit with something.
Yeah. Government wants their money, so they're not. Yeah, it's going to get hit with something. It probably wouldn't be that bad, but yeah, you're definitely going to have some import fee or tax attached to it.
Yeah,
he was just saying, Steve. He was just saying that he was interested in the 60 millimeter.
Well, there's U.S. dealerships that we're establishing this year, and be able to buy it through a U.S. based dealer, right?
Oh, okay.
And I think that'll help, right? Depending on where you live. Help. I don't know. Yeah.
It should help.
I don't know the tax structure in the U.S. how it works from state to state. So that might be an option. But once they're launched in April, then we're talking to we have a couple of existing dealers right now in the U.S. and we'll order it directly from them to start.
Nice.
Nice.
Do you have a timeline on that, when they might be available in the States through dealers there, or is it still
it'll be
something that-
open to everyone come April, right?
April? Okay.
Yeah.
Good. Awesome.
Nice.
So Steve, you mentioned the F11 refractor that probably, you know, I did when I hopped in. You were mentioning the F11 refractor, and you have the 60 millimeter here. Are you planning on are you focusing primarily on refractors? Are you going to look at reflectors and mirror type, or just primarily with refractors at this point?
No, we have a line of reflectors as well. We
Okay.
talked about them earlier. So that right now we have an 8 and a 10. There'll be a 12 available, probably in the summer for
Sure.
it's an F4 reflector. The mirrors are a 12th wave mirror, 1/10 to 1/12 wave of a mirror.
Okay.
Mirror, not of a mirror. And
Yeah, it's just this little bit of a mirror.
It's
It's
almost
okay.
as big as my eyeglass.
That's all you get.
yeah, we
How
slice it
you
up,
get.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's it. Yeah. And then we mentioned earlier we have a line of Dobsonians. Right now they're only currently sold in Canada just because of the cost of shipping to get them down. But that's another thing that we're looking at right now in order to get distribution within the U.S. to be able to sell those Dobs there, right? Or else they're going to be too expensive, right, for anyone to realistically buy, right?
Yeah, no, I hear you. But no, that's awesome. So you have this nice variety,
It's a
so
it's a pretty full product line right now. Everything from the scopes to talk about the filter wheels, the accessories for them. We do dew heaters, right? Like the actual heaters themselves. We have the. I should have grabbed them to show you guys.
The dew heaters have a nice feature to them.
I was going to say so.
Different.
The typical dew heater, you'll have the cable coming right off the tail end of the dew heater, so it comes straight out. What we do is we come right off the side, right? So you don't have a cable coming out that you're going to have to bend around when you're wrapping the heater around and velcroing into place. So it keeps the cable out of the way. It's supported inside the heater itself, where the stitching is. So it doesn't get pulled on and twisted. Because usually if a dew heater is going to break, it's going to break at that point, right? Mm-hmm. Where it exits the actual heater itself. So we have it supported coming out the side. We also have USB heaters in 2-inch and 3-inch. So, if you have you go with a 3-inch dew heater USB, if you're a DSLR person on a camera tracker, right? You can put a dew heater on your lens. You plug it into a USB power bank, right? And you've got a dew-free night, right? And you don't have to be lugging around a big, heavy power supply. You just get yourself like a 30,000 milliamp hour battery, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
$40, right? Or you might even be using like one of those Jackery type units or whatever, right? They're nice, light, and portable. They'll have a USB port on it too. You can plug into that, and you have portable dew control without having to lug around, a power supply for 12 volt to step it down or step it up and so on. So like I said, complete line, and we are looking at doing other things. I've been playing with. I have 155 millimeter f8 Starfield, right? Don't know what we're going to do with that in the future, but
send it to me.
If you want to send it down for some more testing, I'll be totally unbiased. I can just.
No, don't send it to the ZWO guy.
That means you can send it to me. So I'll put my eagle right on top of it. It's fine. No.
Hey Steve, there was a couple questions that came up. One of them was earlier when we were talking about the mirrors for the Starfield. It was Dylan. He was asking, he was wanting to know because he wants to buy mirrors. Can you sell the mirrors separately, like just the mirrors themselves, if you wanted to buy a Starfield mirror?
You know what I would say is, Dylan, give me get in touch with us through the website. Let us know what your requirements are, and we'll let you know what we can do on it. And if we can, right? But yeah, we might be able to work something out for just a mirror, depending on the size and on it. The lead time on a single mirror though might be a little bit longer than the scopes themselves, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I know that sounds silly.
He's got time. Don't worry.
Yeah, Dylan. He's got time.
Dylan's got time. I love Dylan. Dylan is actually a picture of the month and a picture of the week winner. So that we do that. We do that. We do a picture a week every week. And let me throw an apology out to the fellas and the ladies out there that are pictures of the week that were looking for their pictures of the week this week. On Monday, and I know, poor me, I worked 30 hours straight and I totally forgot to put the pictures of the week up. They are up right now. So go to Pictures of the Week and don't forget to vote for Picture of the Month right now. Go to the website, www.astroweb.com, and vote for your Picture of the Week and January Picture of the Month, because the January Pictures of the Week are on there. So go check it out. There's some really great photos. There's actually, in this Picture of the Week, a Dragons of Era for the Pictures of the Week. So,
nice.
So that was taken from Brisbane, Australia. So
that's such a beautiful object.
It turns out that we are actually like a multinational YouTube channel now. We finally got our first person from China watching. And we are in 13 different countries now. I looked it up on the Google Analytics. 13 different countries now, and it's pretty amazing. You know, including some random countries I never even heard of. But you know, in all fairness, that could be IP Vanish just messing with me. But you never know. I mean, you would never know it. I could log into your system and you'd think I'm in Belgium. I mean, you know, but according to Google Analytics, we're in 13 different countries right now. So thank you for everybody with the support. It's been great. It's awesome.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's awesome. Way to go. Good stuff, guys.
Yeah.
The other question that was out there, and you may not be able to answer this, Steve, just because it's, you know, not something you can answer just yet. But Mikey was asking with regards to the Starfield 60 being available in the States through dealerships, or for through dealers. Can you say what dealers that might be, or no, not yet?
Well, right now the dealer we have on our website is OPT in the States. We are talking with other dealers, but until we have anything finalized, I don't want to.
Yeah. I figured that. Yeah.
But there's stuff happening, right? Especially in the summer. There's going to be some cool things happening in the U.S. market.
Nice.
It's
going to be great to have Starfield Optics more readily available as a top competitor in the U.S. for optics. It's going to be great.
I think it's a fantastic idea.
I'm sure you do.
No objections. No objections at all. So,
will you have an opportunity to come to NEAF?
He's going to be there.
I actually will be at NEAF. Yes.
And,
awesome.
And we've already spoken, and I don't know, Sean, if you're coming or not. I know you were kind of.
I'm trying to work it out. I don't know if it's going to work out schedule wise. I'm still trying to figure it out. So I might be. It's tentative right now. I might be flying with Ron, but I'm not sure yet. So we'll see what happens.
Well, just so you know, and the schedule, the AstroWorld schedule. There's going to be a schedule at the AstroWorld table because we're going to have a lot of events going on throughout the day. But one of the events that's going on is on Saturday and on Sunday, because it is a 2-day event. We're going to be doing a group picture. So I want everybody, it's going to be like a total Fast Times at Ridgemont High thing. We're going to have everybody in front of the AstroWorld table. We're going to take a group picture from up high, and anybody who's there at about 2:30, 3 o'clock on Saturday and 2:30, 3 o'clock on Sunday, We're going to take a group picture with everybody, vendors, if they want to show up, they can get away from their tables, anything. And so all the members that are there, because there are a lot of members from AstroWorld that are going to be going to the show, not to mention the fact that this will be the first time, I think, that Eric, Pete, myself, and Jesse, at least, and Simon from Simon Lewis from ZW, because Simon was a presenter for a while, and he also did the did a lot of work on the website for us. We'll be in the same room at the same time, so it's going to be an amazing thing on that. That's going to be pretty wild.
Yeah, that's going to be a lot of fun. A lot of fun, to see everybody, to see, so many, to see so many people in person and meet a lot of people, face to face, and enjoy an opportunity to, take a few photos and build some memories in person. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. That's one of the great things about this experience, about Neve going in this hobby, meeting so many awesome people. It's a fantastic community, and I'm really looking forward to it.
It's gonna be great. It's gonna be a lot of fun.
What are you presenting, Dan, at your booth in particular? Anything or?
Yeah, so I'm presenting Sean Nielsen from Visible Dark. He's going to be coming, and he's going to be doing.
I thought maybe you could bring your closet of death with you and set it up.
No, but I'll bring a rig and stuff. There's going to be a lot of giveaways at the table, and I got pens and magnets and a whole bunch of stuff.
Don't forget the Astro with Eric T-shirts.
That might be a thing. You know what? Maybe we'll take pre-orders for the.
Funny enough, I'm thinking most of the things.
I'll throw it on the Redbubble site. Although I want a disclaimer signed by Eric that he won't sue me. So, although there may be some interesting things going on at NEAF, and I'll just say that. So let's just if you're there, you'll get it firsthand. Hopefully, if you're not, I'm sure you'll hear it the week after. So, but that's all I could say about that at the right now. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, sounds good.
Fair enough.
I wanted to just steer it back to Steve with Starfield Optics. There,
of course. He is our guest.
Yeah,
he is.
I wondered if you could just speak. This comes up a lot. People talk about the price of the gear, the equipment, but I know Starfield Optics. You're not aiming for the lowest price. You're aiming for a good quality product. And I wondered if you could just talk about the quality control philosophy that Starfield has with regards to the products that you manufacture.
No, I appreciate that. So no, we aren't the cheapest kids on the block. That's for sure. And that was never the intention to come in with the lowest price to take up market share and break into the market that way. Our intent was to put out a product that had the accessories and features built into it that an imager would want. Right? We'll look at the Gear 80 and the Gear 90, heavy duty rings, a good long dovetail handle that's functional, that can be used, a camera rotator, right? A 2-speed rotatable focuser, so you can rotate the focuser as well, but a deluxe rack and pinion focuser. The rings, being able to mount stuff directly to the rings have tapped holes on them as well, so we can keep everything up on our scope,
guys.
But then
I'm sorry, I got to get up a second. I think it might be raining outside, and my scope's outside. Give me a second.
Whoa, that's not good.
Oh, that's never good. So while he's doing that, please continue, Steve.
Yeah.
I once had my tack caught in the rain, and that hurt a lot. Oh, anyway, sorry. And then the one thing I'm always asked is there when somebody buys a scope, is there a case? Yes, we include a case with it as well. Now, in terms of quality control, all of our scopes, the Gear series, the triplets, are put through an onto an optics bench, and they're all tested, right? So when you buy a Gear Series scope, right, the scope comes with a test report with it and we can see the quality of the optics, right, and get a Strel rating of that particular objective. Each one is serialized, so we can match the report back to the objective as well. So in the end user is getting a scope that has been looked at, right, and before it's packaged up, we're confident that it's good, right? We haven't had any complaints, so I take that as a good thing as well. Right?
So where are these scopes coming from?
We have a factory.
We'll leave it at that.
Trade
no,
secrets.
No rain,
Yeah.
no
Yep,
rain,
secret.
but there is clouds coming through, and there might be a squall coming in. So I'm gonna have to shut down my scope and park everything and do all that because
Yeah.
it's
No.
supposed to be clear all
Steve,
night. You know what? I just got news that my Alto. I don't know if you know what an Alto is, but my Alto shipped, and of course it brought in the clouds. I guess so. I think it's supposed to be here tomorrow. So so.
Here's a comment here though from Scott in Niagara. Steve was extremely helpful when I went to the store. He was more than willing to take the time to help a total noob out with all of my questions. And thanks again, Steve. So testament to what you're trying to accomplish and doing over there, man. So kudos.
Thanks.
You know?
I appreciate that. I really do. Part of I think the community is sharing with knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Agreed.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and that's in all the various hobbies I'm involved in. Right. I can say that in the astronomy hobby, there's a desire to want to share knowledge and know-how, and that's the way I look at it. Right. So somebody wants to know something, they ask a question. If I have an answer, I'll give them an answer, right? To the best of my ability.
Yeah, and that's again one of the reasons why we started this channel was so that not only we would get educated by the members, but sending out that education out to the masses as accurate as we can. And it's just been a great ride right now on an Eric bumper sticker.
I saw that.
Oh man, it's gonna be Eric's line of gear. That's what it is. So Eric's gonna start his own Redbubble store. So
I think Eric should have a table and booth at NEAF.
Oh boy, let's get back to Steve. Let's talk about Starfield. Let me ask you a question.
Sure.
As as a manufacturer, and just for my own sake, my own curiosity, what would be the dream? Have you developed yet, in your opinion, your dream scope? And if so, could you tell me which one that would be, or do you see something on the horizon, or that you would picture as your dream scope that for Starfield that you can say, yeah, this is the one I've always wanted, personally?
You know what? I kind of feel that we have that right now, right? Like I really, really like our Gear 115, right? I've always been a big fan of the 102 millimeter 4-inch f7 scope, right? Because I've always found it to be a very versatile scope. You can use it at native focal length. You can reduce it down very easily. It's still portable. You don't need a heavy mount for it. You can do a lot with it. But the 115 we have, it takes that versatility and kicks it up a notch, right? And I have a backyard setup, right? And I have the pod, and I'm grateful for that. And I keep a big scope in it. but I also like to go camping in the summertime on new moon weekends, and I need something that's versatile and is going to give me that reach, but I can still bring it down in focal length as well. So the 115 to me is really that scope, right? I feel that we have it, right, and we kept the same philosophy with it, right? With all the objectives are tested. All the scopes come in with a case. That one's a soft case. I kind of prefer a soft case over a hard case. It has all the features as the other scopes. So I've always considered that to be our flagship, and I consider that to be my favorite scope. Right?
Okay.
Steve,
Yeah.
Steve, do you individually test personally? Do you individually test each of the scopes that come in?
No, if I were to individually test each scope that came in, they'd never be available to go out because I'm too busy. I probably wouldn't get to them.
You don't get enough clear nights, anyways.
Yeah.
So you're not like Vic Maris then.
No, not in that respect. They are tested at the factory and then packaged up for delivery.
Nice, but no, that's awesome because I've always been curious about with a lot of the guests that we have on here is like, what do they have you gotten to your dream setup or anything like that, or have you gotten to that point? That's why the reason I was asking that question is because I find those those things when I'm getting to know our guests and talking with people to understand how how do they how do they see what they currently have, and is it everything that they can say, yeah, this is it, or maybe there's something that I would think that might be a little bit more, a little something different, that I could say, yeah, this is this is the dream. I'm not there yet, but maybe in a little while, because I'm a guy on a budget, and I'm not always there, and I'm not totally there yet, but I've been fortunate enough to have what I have.
Yeah, no, you see, I look at it this way. I think we all have our tastes when it comes to astrophotography, right? Yeah. And what we like to image, right? I've got a buddy, he loves dark nebula. That's all he ever does is dark nebula, right? And he does an amazing job at it, right? I have, I'll give you an example, that 155 f8, awesome focal length on it, and I can get right up in there. So I did an image of Crescent Nebula, and you're right up in there, right, and almost being disrespectful to its personal space, right? Which is nice. It's a nice, if you can do it. But I'm really interested in not just the nebula, like everything around it, right? Mm-hmm. And so that's why we're talking about. I talk about the 115. It gives me the ability to get all of that. That's what I like. Talk like the Dragons of Aria. Like that's not the same thing. Like if you're right up in there, you're just going to see like the two dragons touching. You're not going to see everything else around it, right? Right. So that's been my approach to it. When deciding which way we want to go with the product, and I guess that kind of makes it kind of personal in a way. Like I'm kind of directing customers into, but at the same time, it's like I say, I think it kind of drives from the artistic portion of it, drives where the product's going. Yeah, I love wide field, right? Like on one of the podcasts, I think I coined the term deep space wide field imaging, right? And it was and you can do that with a DSLR and a 200 millimeter lens, or a 60 millimeter scope, right? You can get that nice wide field, right? And those are things that I like. So that's why what I've been trying to push and have a product come out that serves, I guess, my own personal selfish.
And it's okay, you know, to have your own, you know, your personal motivation of why I'm doing this. You know, that's totally cool. That's
Well, you know, you touch on something about why I'm doing this. You know, I probably could have been really happy on just the accessory side, right? But look at the past 3 years, right? The havoc that we've seen in the industry.
Yeah.
Right. You couldn't get a piece of equipment anywhere. Right. So it was like, well, I can sit around and wait, right, for everybody else to figure out their logistics and get things moving again. Right. Or I can, you know, serve my own customers with my own solution. Right. And there was that gap that existed that allowed us to come in and say, okay, this is what we're going to do, because the other guys, you know, can't, you know, trying to be polite, can't figure it out. Right.
Can't figure it out. Yeah. Sure.
Right.
No.
Our Dobsonians, for example, right. You know, we couldn't see a competitor's Dobsonian, right, in the Canadian marketplace at all, right, for well over a year, right? So we felt there was an opportunity there to get in, right? And I love your dog in the background.
Tight, buddy.
Yeah, I love dogs. So we want to, you know, we can't let the hobby die off. We can't let it contract, right? So we felt that we wanted to at least do our part, put some efforts in to keep it going, right? Because, you know, from a business point of view, if people are waiting so long to be able to buy product in order to do what they want to do, if they can't get it, they're going to leave the industry altogether and go do something else.
Yep.
Right. Yes, and now that's even worse, because now you have less people in this amazing hobby, again, sharing, right, learning, building the hobby, experiencing new things, and, you know, they're off, like, I don't know, fishing, which isn't a bad thing either.
Fishing,
right? You know what I mean, right? Like,
yeah, no,
it's not fair. We're losing sleep and they're getting a full night's rest. And
but they're getting up at 4 a.m. to catch that wave. So I mean, you know.
Yeah.
You know, hey.
Yeah.
Fishing's overrated.
That's it. You know, you mentioning Vic Maris at Stellarview, right? I have a lot of respect for Vic, right? How he started off, right? Like, importing components and putting stuff together and and I think he had the same. I feel he had the same drive and ideas to bring, you know, quality optics, a quality product to the end user, and that evolved, right, to look where he is now, right, with the scopes he's producing now, right? They're amazing. Like, if anything, I'm trying to model that in a way too, right, with what Vic has done with Stellarview and made it to what it is, right? I've had Stellarview; they're great.
He makes no bones about it. He brings the scopes in from China, because I know Vic real well. He literally inspects each scope individually. And if it doesn't meet his criteria, he'll just check it out. He'll just basically say, nope, doesn't meet. And he's done a phenomenal job with it. And he's actually brought his own line of reducers and flatteners. In case in point, he's done a very good job for it. And what's really interesting, you got to admire Vic for this. He's decided now not to go through distributor network, because he says, Pete, look it. He says, if I'm giving a discount, why is it that I have to handle all the technical questions when the distributor is working with the customers? It doesn't make sense for me to go ahead and give them a discount if I got to handle all the technical questions. And I admire that about him. So he's gone now direct. So he's done a very good job.
Yeah, I think you know, I agree with with that approach, what Vic is doing in a way, but it also, the flip side of it too is being very selective of who your dealers are, right? And who you're putting your product through, right? You start putting it through almost anyone, right?
That brings up another good point here, Steve, and this is what's very important. And Dan and I have talked about this, and Eric, and we've all discussed it. When you're going through distributors, oh yeah, you got the OPTs, you got the High Points, you've got these guy products, you've got Starzona. There's only a select few that have technical sales consultants. The rest are just sales reps that don't have a freaking clue.
Absolutely
and you're right. You got to work with somebody that knows what they're talking about, because this is a high technical industry to get into. And when we start talking about back focus, when we start talking about cameras, when we talk about image scales, when we talk about image circles, you got to have people that know what they're talking about so that they can put these systems integrations together. And unfortunately, there's only a select few of those people that are out there in this industry. And you're right. The one question that I always tell a lot of people is to say, hey, look, whoever you're working with, ask them to send you some photographs or send you a link to where their photographs are posted. Because if they're not, if they don't have them, then you're just dealing with a salesperson. You're not dealing with somebody that's a technical sales consultant that knows what you're getting yourself into. And that's the criteria, how you define somebody to work with in this industry.
Absolutely. I agree 100%. And, I look at our Canadian dealer network, and we work with companies that I feel are reputable enough to be able to represent the product if somebody has questions about it. I build my other business up the same way, right? Is to provide, sound technical advice, right? And actual information, right? I've told customers, I'm not selling you that. If they come in, I want to buy this. What are you going to use it for? No, I'm not going to sell you that.
Yeah, it's not going to work.
Right. I've talked myself out of a $1,000 sale, and the guy walks out spending $200. Right. You're right, but you're 100% right. That is a real concern, I think, for any manufacturer to put when they put their products out through a dealer or distribution, is to make sure that it is being represented and talked about correctly. Because the last thing you want is your product being put out there and used incorrectly. The end user has a bad experience with it, right? And all it takes is a couple of posts on some online forums, and that's it. You can be sunk.
Yeah, and you know what? If the photos that Sean has been taking through both of the scopes that he's been testing are indicative of the future of Starfield Optics, then I'll tell you, you know what, you got nothing to worry about here, because I mean the things that I've seen coming from the results of your scopes have just been nothing short of outstanding. So
appreciate that.
Yeah.
So keep up the good work, because it's definitely you're fighting the right fight. I'll tell you that. But
thank you. I mean, for me personally, it's like I look at what you're doing here, Steven. It's like you're living, for me, and we talk about being in this hobby. I personally think you're living the dream. You're able to be out here and develop these products that are going to be impactful for people who are in this hobby, and make a positive impact for people who are in this hobby. And to Dan's point, the testimony is right there in what Sean he displays when he's imaging, and then he puts that out here at visibledark.ca or on his YouTube videos. That's your gear that's out there and showing. So it's a great, opportunity for everyone to see around the world, not just in Canada, but around the world, who's watching, Visible Dark, to see how good your equipment is and how much passion you have for what you're doing. And I appreciate that, and I know a lot of other people, customers will
Titan
appreciate.
appreciates it too.
Titan appreciates that.
Yeah.
You know,
I thought it was Eric's stomach.
I know, right?
Eric just had a good dinner, I'm sure. So.
Yeah, I just had a great dinner. My poor puppy, you know, he's missed his dad. He's like, I've been gone all day. But no, it just shows, you know, when we have quality people who have a passion, who are putting products out here.
Maybe it's not his stomach.
Yeah, maybe. Oh,
maybe it's something else.
Somebody wants to play.
Yeah, somebody wants to play.
Oh, it's the dog. You know, I thought it was irritable bowel syndrome.
Eric's got IBS.
He's just a spoiled brat. But you know, it's just an awesome thing, you know. And like I say, I think you're one of the lucky ones who can have the opportunity to create these types of products, and you know, around an industry that you love, you know, and then share it out there with everybody else. And you shut up.
Oh man, but yeah, I mean, that was a question.
But you get what I'm saying. I think you get what I'm saying.
Yeah, there was a question out there about the 10-inch nude. I think if that's short of you tested that yet, or
no, I haven't tested that. No, I've only been working with the 8-inch. So, but I mean, the 8-inch is the performance from it is amazing. So I would not hesitate to jump on a 10-inch there and expect to get similar results or better results with it.
That's great.
Yeah, no, I think Starfield and Steve, your passion really shows, and the quality of the products that you're producing and the innovation that you're introducing into the products, I think is really, really something. And I like I said before, I would highly recommend the Starfield line if anyone's looking for a new scope. Check them out. And I don't know if did you put the link in the chat there at all, Dan, for Starfield Optics?
Good question. I think I did, but
yeah, just throw it in there real quick
I'll
so people maybe can hop on over and check it out. I'm really excited. I'm really looking forward to that 60 millimeter. That one is. Yeah, that's a really the features of it just really are fantastic, the way you've got it designed, and the focuser option, the motorized focus option that you've got for it, and the case, that you can fit everything in the case like that. You don't have to take it apart. That's great. Like, that's an amazing feature to bring to the table. Something that hasn't been done before, really. So yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing the results with that one. Should be a lot of fun, and should be. I would expect that the quality of it is going to be fantastic.
Yeah, no, it's going to be a bit of a game changer, I think, for everyone to enjoy once it's ready.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun to see what's coming out next. With Starfield.
It's going to be interesting to watch 2023 unfold.
It's been great watching the company grow and go broaden its horizons, like you said. Going from the accessory line through the premium telescope line, pretty much, and it's really, really awesome to see. So it's nice.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we do have a really quick giveaway that we have to do tonight. We're giving away a free MOP workshop tonight. So we should do that really quick. And everybody who's still online, please go vote for your picture of the week and the picture of the month. And by the way, I'll wait for Eric to come back. I don't think we ever did picture of the month for December live. It's been picked. but it was never released, apparently. So So we forgot to do that, but I'll wait for Eric to come back. But let's do. We'll go to the Sean Nielsen special Wheel of Fortune here, and so let me get that out.
That was a good find. I like that.
Oh, that's great. Everyone's using that. I'm seeing it everywhere. I'm seeing it.
I can't. Yeah, I know. I know. Masters of Pixinsight started using it too.
I know.
After
I
they
saw it, and I was like,
yeah, I saw one of my videos on that. But
you should come up with a code on your own and put your face in the middle.
just have me spinning around there.
I'm telling you, it'd be great.
Sorry about that.
That's okay. Yeah, we're gonna do the Masters of Pixinsight giveaway real quick.
Okay.
And let's see if I can get the. Here we go. And here's a massive wheel again. And we have 147 people on the wheel. I can barely even read the names. You probably can't even read them on Facebook or wherever you're watching us. It's probably just so but
yeah, there'll probably be someone that says their name wasn't in there though.
Yeah, because they're always looking for the one name. It's one thing when you're looking at 147 of them, but it's always that one person that signs up right before the show that's like, come on, it was one below mine. But anyway, but here we go. Free class at Masters of Pixinsight. They just did their WBPP last night. It was really interesting. I was there. And Andy Lee.
Andy Lee.
Andy Lee. There you go, Andy. You'll be getting an email from me and a follow-up email from Pete on how to redeem your voucher for a free Masters of Pixinsight workshop. So pretty cool.
Congratulations.
There we go. And Eric, you know what we didn't do? It looks like we didn't do the January. I said December. The January. December. Right, 1 month behind. December picture of the month. Did we release that in January?
I thought we did.
I thought we did, but the winner said we didn't do it. So I'm guessing that we didn't do it. So
okay.
So I'm gonna pull that up really quick here because
if you want to pull that up real quick.
Yeah, let me go in there because it seems that it might just have. I don't know how it went by the wayside. I've been good with it recently. So let's see. Start date.
Nope, it's all good. It has some things happen.
Yep.
So it's always fun.
Picture month December. There we go.
Let's take a look at a couple things here. No. Oh. Where's your wedge? All right. While you're doing that,
yep.
I'm just checking the chat here because I would like to see if anyone else has any other questions for Steve or regarding Starfield Optics. And I think the last one did come from Tom. Yeah. No,
I don't see any other questions.
I don't think so. If we want, I think it's been a really good night. So.
It's been great. Yeah.
Yeah. No,
very informative. Yeah. Great.
And I don't want to keep Steve up any longer. You've been up since God knows how long. It sounds like you've been up for quite a while.
Yeah, I was up at 4:30 for a 5:30 workout, and you kind of wonder why you're doing it. Then, 5:30.
Yeah, that's that. Is that dedication or is that something else? You always wonder.
I think it's a little bit from column A and a little bit from column B. No, I enjoy it. I enjoy it. Don't get me wrong. I enjoy it.
Awesome. Well, we really appreciate Sean. Thank you for bringing Steve on to spend some time with us. We really, really appreciate it. Steve, again, thank you. And best of luck, with Starfield Optics. And from what I'm seeing here, there are a lot of people who are really interested in your product, and I think are going to be really pleased with your product, especially off of just what Sean's been doing with the 8-inch there. I think it's going to be awesome. So no, I personally just really appreciate you coming out and hanging out with us.
Yeah, no, I appreciate the invite. I had a lot of fun. This was great. So thank you. Peter, let's talk about that 65 millimeter filter wheel.
Dan. What I did is I sent Dan a text message to have him text me your email. So I will send you an email in the morning with all my information. So I definitely want to talk to you about that.
I'll send it to you. No problem.
Yeah, and we'll look into that. Right.
Cool.
Shouldn't be. We'll see what we can do.
All right.
Awesome.
So let me share my screen real quick. And the pictures are a little small because I had to put the new pictures up. But so we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we had I believe this was Dave Schaefer's M31. We had a jellyfish, and that was, who was that? Mark Ellis. And then we had the Bloodstone, Dylan, Rosette, the section of Rosette with all those Bach globules that we were looking at. Able 85 by, who is this? This is Tom, Peter, and Sean. Sean, you did the process on that.
Mm-hmm.
And then we got a Trifid Nebula with, I don't know who this is from, with the Quattro. This might be, oh, that's Dylan too. It's Bloodstone.
It's Dylan too from Bloodstone. Yeah.
Yep. All right. So let's take a look and see. And this is for picture of the month for January. And we'll go back to the poll. And for some reason, it is doing the last one first. So January. So the winner for January, picture of the month. Here we go. By a landslide.
Wow.
Bloodstone.
Yeah, that is a landslide.
Bloodstone Rosette section. And if you want, you could actually see it, and you could see the whole. If you go right to www.astroworldweb.com, go to image contests, and boom, there it is. So nice job to Bloodstone. Just so you know, the current picture of the week entries are up. Here's another Rosette. There's Dylan again with M82, M81.
That's really nice.
Yeah.
There's the Dragons.
Great detail on that.
Jensen. Yeah.
Yes, great detail. Yep.
Really nice. Couple of comments.
Oh, the comet.
Oh yeah.
I haven't been able to image that comet. Not at all. I
Somehow
don't think
we
it
got
will.
2 comets in one field of view.
Speaking about the comet, it's right beside Iota, the star Iota, which is in Aruga. It's right beside that tonight.
Nice.
Nice.
And then we got the picture of the month again, and that's the one we just did. Oh, I had the new pictures here. So here are the original nominees for picture of the month. 85, that's the Bloodstone who won, Mark Ellis, and M31. So nice job to everybody as usual. Really nice pictures. Really great job on everything. So congratulations to Dylan and Andy Lee. All
Nice.
right. Very, very good. So again, Steve, thank you so much for coming and hanging out with us for a couple hours. I know you've been up since 4:30 in the morning, so I know it's time. You'll get about 3 hours sleep, and you'll be up soon. So I mean,
I'll be. Well, thanks again. I really appreciate it. It was a lot of fun, and hope to be able to come back one day. And if anyone's going to NEAF, please stop by and say hello. And I'd love to meet everyone that.
I expect you to come by to the AstroWorld table and be in the group pick. So
absolutely.
So definitely come on down. I'm gonna try and drag everybody, but it's gonna be a lot of fun. But thanks so much. We're looking forward to having you again. Whenever you want to come on and say, hey Dan, just you have my email. You got something new to say?
Yeah,
you're more than welcome to come on.
All
right.
Looking forward to a podcast there, Steve.
Yeah. It's all on Sean right now. I'm waiting on Sean.
John.
Had to do it.
There you go. Stick the knife in there. There you
Okay.
go.
There it is.
Let's get together at 4:30 in the morning, and we'll do a
Okay.
podcast.
All right, I got your number. I'll give you a call.
Steve
All
will
right.
be on. But, so final thoughts, Eric?
No, just again, thank you guys for really for joining us. We really appreciate the opportunity to always talk to you all. And Steve, yeah, again, more than welcome to come back on anytime.
Thank you.
And just looking forward to I've got my ticket, so I think I'm gonna start a virtual countdown to NEAF. So it's gonna be awesome. But no, just a great show. I'm glad I was able to hop on.
Pete?
Nope, just a great show, Steve. Good to meet you. Look forward to talking to you here, email or by phone, but definitely we'll look forward to talking to you on that. Sean, glad that you definitely decided to come on the show. Open invitation.
Thank you for having me. Yeah, I appreciate it. It's always fun.
Hey, Sean, final thought?
Not really. Just the only thing I can think of is really, the innovation and the care that goes into the products that Starfield is designing and manufacturing. I just think to say to people, support that. If you can, if you're looking at getting a new scope or you're looking at getting another filter wheel or any type of accessory in that, support that that company, that individual like Steve that really puts his heart into what he's doing and does a phenomenal job producing these high quality I like what you said, premium scopes, and also the technical knowledge that he brings to it, and the fact that he won't steer you wrong. He'll tell you outright if you're going down the wrong path, and he'll get you back on track. So I think that's something to stand behind, get behind, and really support. So I just hope that everyone can do that.
That type of information is invaluable. That someone will tell you.
It is
not what you what you want to hear, what you need to hear. And and unfortunately, there's too many people out there that would just the yes people, and
they just want to sell.
It's sometimes like you said, Steve, turn away $1,000 sale to walk out with a 200, but you'll leave with a customer that's going to come back forever. And as long as you put them on the right path. But thank you so much. Go ahead.
I was going to say I think that especially the smaller independent dealers, that will have someone like that there, right? Yeah. And when you find that person, right, that you're dealing with, like, don't leave them, right? Because they'll treat you very, very well, right? And make sure you have what you need to get the most out of your equipment. So it's important to support those guys, right? Fully.
Absolutely.
Agreed. And Steve, in case anybody was wondering, there was no rain. I'm sorry I had to drop off for a second, Steve. There was a squall kind of coming in, and I just wanted to get the scope in before anything might happen. All of a sudden, in my ears, PhD started beeping at me, and I looked at the thing, and I was like, oh, I gotta go. See you later. But unfortunately, sooner or later, we'll all have that observatory that we all want that closes the roof on its own. But until that happens, I got to run in and out. But Steve, thank you so much again for coming down and teaching us about your business and your telescopes and just spending time for us. It means a lot. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right, everybody. Well, have a good night and Friday night. And I don't know what we're doing on Friday. I don't know if Eric, you got time to do your thing that you were talking about. But
it's been kind of crazy, but we can talk a little bit about it.
Yeah, we're getting back to the Q&A stuff. If Eric doesn't have his, I got a couple of things in the toolbox that I can bring out, all about beginner stuff, filters, reducers, flatteners, different types of mounts. Well, what's quantum efficiency? What is all this stuff that we're talking about? And it's real important to get a handle on all these terminologies. And that's what we're going to be going about. So look for us Friday night at 8 o'clock. Thank you again, Steve, for hanging out. And Sean, thank you again as well. And remember, as always, keep imaging, keep educating, and clear skies. And we'll see you next time. Take care, everybody.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
See you on Friday, everybody.